something about it and do something!
Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Really?
It's like a gentle hate.
Do we have another benevolent star here? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you benevolent? Is your friend?
My name is Logan Paul, and I think I'm coming out of the flat earth closet.
This is so fucking depressing. I can't be a flat earth person.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have a flat earth and things making sense.
Good evening, YouTube, and welcome to Jem's Flat Earth Sunday Roast. We're back once again with the show they don't want you to see. In tonight's show, we bring you the very best from the last week in Conspiritardia, including Q reactions to the US presidential election, the King and his quest for Jacob's pillow, some real big talk from Globebusters Bob, plus, of course, Nathan Thompson gets punked. The whole sorry saga here and nowhere else, except Everett's channel, of course. I am your host, Jem, and joining me, as always, are just some of the cool kids from the Debate Flat Earth and More Discord server. They are currently Curved and Chemo. And we're hoping that Scott and Kosho will also be joining us soon. Hi guys, how's it going?
Good evening.
Good to see you, Chemo. What have you been up to?
Just flat smacking as per usual. Obviously, we've had that debacle with a flat earther during the week, but we'll get into all of that.
Yes.
We'll get into all of that, yeah.
How you been, Curved?
Fantastic. I've been doing a little flat smacking myself and finding it very enjoyable.
Yeah, you've been smacking flat earthers, I take it. You mean by that?
No.
No. Oh, missed it.
I'm attacking the Audis Globers.
I see. Okay. I will say to our lovely audience, feel free to make a comment in the chat. If it's interesting or funny, I might even read it out. Or hit the super chat and I'll read it out, regardless of it being interesting or funny. Suddenly I can't see any chat. Oh, there it is. It's right in front of me. Now I've got one. All right, we've got a ton of stuff to get through. Longest show ever. I say that almost every week, it seems. So, old Scott's joined us. Welcome, Scott. Good to see you. The big news this week was, of course, the total failure of the greatest democracy in the world to select a new leader. So as things are looking more than a little hairy for the Don right now, how are his disciples in the Q gosh, why can't I speak? How are his disciples in the Q community handling it? Here is an election report.
And good evening, everybody. Ann Vandersteel with Steel Truth, bringing you yet another election update delivery of the truth that's going down right now. The United States is probably not going to sleep tonight. We've had so much excitement going on, and I think the euphoria is coming back. With Dr. Charlie Ward this evening, he joined me last night for an impromptu little chat because we were feeling a little bit confused. Charlie, it's good to be with you. Apparently America is up and we're peacefully protesting around the country right now, and President Trump is actually tweeting out about people need to be stepping down out of Secretary of State offices, and it looks like we're about to see a big shift here. What's coming?
What an amazing time to be alive. You know, I was told a few weeks back now, and I mentioned that I had a feeling he was going to let them use their old system just to expose how corrupt they really are. We're up against a deep state cabal that is criminal to the absolute core. And he is going to expose them because people who understand and love Trump are right behind him. But those on the other side cannot see it. So he's having to let them expose themselves as to how evil, how dirty they actually are. And now we'll start to see the indictments issued publicly against those in power who have abused their power and are part of the deep state and part of the cabal. And it's an amazing time to be alive. I've been waiting for this day for years, and we're starting to see it all unfold. But he's having to let them expose themselves, which for those people who don't know what's going on, it's pretty nervy, because you're wondering what on earth's going on. You know, we thought he'd win this election. We're up against evil. This is not a battle between Democrat and Republican. This is a battle between good and evil. These people are evil, and Donald Trump will expose them for what they are. And that's what he's doing right now. He's having to let them get right to the gate, right to the point, and before he pulls the plug on them and exposes them for exactly what they are. And there will be a number of arrests this week and next week to expose exactly that. But just think about this. One of the first things that Donald Trump will do once we've resolved these issues is he will move us away from admiralty law and from maritime law into constitutional law and common law. So these issues between state and the whole of the United States will completely disappear, because we'll be under a different legal system, and all of the current government will completely fall apart because they won't have any place under the new law. They're all controlled by maritime and admiralty law. So all this panic about what about this law and this law and this law, just remain calm. He has everything under control, and he is exposing how evil can be. He has everything in his hand, and if Charlie and Ann know these things, he knows a million times more. But he and his team are allowing them to expose themselves. Otherwise, the Democratic voters, and they're not really Democratic voters because all the figures are being fixed. They're all being manipulated by the deep state, and he's allowing them to expose themselves. You know, you don't need to be a rocket scientist that when 3 states have more votes than they actually have registered voters in there, you know you have a problem.
Right.
And if we know that, don't think for a minute that his team aren't totally on top of that. The mainstream media, whether it's American or European or wherever it is all part of the deep state and the cabal. So they've all got the same narrative. So the people that are in the third dimension will be absolutely petrified right now, won't know what's going on. But those people who've connected with their own spirituality, which will then ultimately connect you to God, will get a very clear picture of what's going on. You don't need to listen to mainstream media to understand what's going on. You get a feeling inside you because that comes directly from God. When you say to everybody in, let's say, 120 days, I'll come back to that in a moment because that's my theory, and it's only my theory, but when we have another election and it's done on a fair system, and we tell everybody that's a Democrat to vote the way you did before, and the Republicans vote the way you did before, and then we can see very clearly how much they contaminated it. Then the penny will drop, but not before that. But when I said to you earlier about 120 days, I've just got this feeling inside me that once we get through this in the next few days, he will announce Nasara. And then we'll have to have an election in 120 days. That's part of the criteria. So we'll have this absolute mess right now, which will be cleaned up with arrests and indictments and arrests, etc. That will then be put to one side, and that will open the door perfectly for him to call for another election in 120 days, but announce Nasara.
So there you have it. That's going to be another US election in 120 days when they announce Nasara, apparently. Any thoughts on that, Scott? Speaking as a lily-livered liberal? What do you think? Oh, I see your mic unmuting and muting. Maybe you didn't do the mic thing again. Curvedy, what are your thoughts?
Well, I've been in touch with my spirituality this week, and what the man was saying is resonating with me. Nasara, he hit the nail right on the head. The deep state will be exposed. These arrests and indictments are coming I can assure you. Scott, what say you?
No, he's still not with us. Yeah, they keep promising. It's a big part of Q, isn't it? They're endlessly promising indictments and arrests. It seems to rest on that. And when they don't occur, of course, they say, oh, well, they did happen. It's just they there's a press block on it and they're keeping it quiet for the time being or whatever.
You know, I missed the beginning, but I saw this at 120 days. What's supposed to be impactful about an election in 120 days? Because that's after
he's going to
inauguration.
Trump is going to announce Nasara.
Okay.
Do you remember
that? It's like a new nation?
Do you remember that? We covered it a couple. I think it was not this show, but the show before. And it's some idea that someone came up with in the 50s, I think. It's some sort of like return to the gold standard type of economic idea. I can't remember quite what it is. There's also Gesara, which is the sort of global version of the same thing. And these people promised this. There's one woman in particular called what's she called? Something Dove, Peaceful Dove or something. I can't remember. But she's been doing this for years, and she talks about this rainbow currency. This is the idea that in most countries in the world, the paper money, the notes, are different colours for each denomination. But in the US, they're all one colour. And when they bring in Nasara, there'll be a new currency, and it's the rainbow currency. And so these people will go into banks and ask the teller if they've got any of the rainbow currency in stock, and if they've had their Nasara training. And of course the teller doesn't know what they're talking about. They just hear the word training and they go, oh yeah, I've had lots of training, yeah. And then the people come back and say, yes, confirmed. I asked at the bank and they know about it. So that's kind of how it works. But anyway, I digress. I've gone on to Nasara. But anyway, the idea is that this is all part of the plan, and we've got to trust the plan, and Trump is still going to be president, and he's going to be, not only is he going to be elected in this election, he's going to be re-elected in 120 days.
That's funny. Well, you know, generally I'm assuming that this government is going to have authority over the same place the United States has authority over. So in order to compete with the American government, I think you'll have to have a comparable military, wouldn't you? Otherwise, what kind of jurisdiction,
it's just America. You're just throwing out your current economic system and installing this new one.
Well, good luck with that.
It's the National Economic Security and something Act or something like that was never enacted, but it was somebody's idea for an act. Anyway, look it up. Nasara. Chemo. Have you been following the US election?
All I can say is hey, ho, ho. Joe Biden, he's got to go. And we need Trump to remain in power for the Antichrist prophecies, of course. So, we think Trump will definitely be in office for the next 4 years.
Oh, I didn't realise you were a Trumpist.
Well, not for the reasons that you might think. Like I say, it's to do with the biblical. It's to do with the prophecies. Trump has his place, and we can't see Joe Biden being the president of America. Yeah.
Oh, well, he's been a vice president. Surely, it's only one step up the ladder.
Yeah, it's just smoke. It's just to give the Americans something to chew on. In this crisis, but no, Trump will be the president for sure.
Okay, cool. All right, well, thank you. So, Scott 2.0, did you make it? Well, I definitely saw him switch.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, there's another one.
He switched again. We're on. Okay, Scott 3.0, did you make it?